Yeah, you know, that show is all about being in the city. We're talking about getting out of the city. Perfect for summer. I know that one of the camping essentials is bug spray. Nelson, you need a little spray, right? A little spray for you. What else do you need? We got Scouts Canada showing us how to pack the perfect backpack. Up next, stay with us. We'll be right back. And we're so lucky because, I mean, we have so many great places that we can go and spend some time outdoors. And Melissa, camping is something that people are going to be really, really busy doing, but we definitely want to make sure we're prepared. First of all, we're here with Scouts Canada, and it's not just about the boys.
No, it's not. We've been co-ed for a very long time. We've actually been letting girls in since the early 80s.
Well, isn't that just very forward of everybody,
know, right?
Why not?
It's awesome.
And everyone needs to be prepared. So let's talk about the most important things you need in a backpack.
Well, the first thing what you want to remember is when you get a backpack, you want it to be sized appropriately for you. We're not going to buy the backpack that's like taller than you, right? And you want it to be fitted around your hips because that's where you're carrying most of your weight. And there's different styles you can look into, like depending if you're into lightweight camping or is this just going to be your everyday backpack.
Now, Shaquille is getting ready to pack up his backpack. So let's talk about some of the essentials and the order of what we need to pack everything in.
Well, you want the heaviest stuff on the bottom and probably not the stuff you're going to dig out first. So like your sleeping bag, for example. And he's got it in a nice compression sack, keep it nice and tight, right? And probably the next thing you're going to do is your mattress. I'm pretty sure you'd prefer sleeping on that instead of on the ground.
What would we do after that?
We'd probably do some of the clothes and more of the toiletry things.
But everything's in a bag. Why is that?
Keeping the moisture out and really good organization. I don't enjoy like ruffling through my bag trying to find my socks.
So we got things like clothes and we got things to sleep on, but Alex, we also need to be prepared in case something maybe goes wrong, right?
Yeah, you never know what's going to happen out there when you're camping, so it helps to be prepared. Handy to have a first aid kit in case anything happens, band-aids, anything to, even whistles. Whistles are all often overlooked kind of things. Pocket knives are great, and even flashlights and granola bars, simple things like that.
Simple things like that, and that would all go, Melissa, just right on the very top, right?
Right on the very top. You want to be able to pull it out first thing.
Excellent. How are you doing with that backpack in there, Shaquille?
Yeah, good.
I think you still got lots of room in there, so you don't want to put any big heavy cans, no?
No.
No, why?
Because it might weigh you down.
It might weigh you down, exactly. What's the most important thing that we learn in Scouts, everybody?
Be prepared!
And that's what we're doing all morning long there back at the station. Yeah, having a great time here at the Scouts. And Zamir, what was the first thing you asked me when you met me?
Do you know Mr. Megji?
I know Mr. Megji. We all know Mr. Megji. We're all lucky to know Mr. Megji, but I'm lucky to know you guys because we're going to be making a fire. Before we go to break, we need to know what we need to start the fire first, Alex.
Anything from lint to newspaper. Anything that will make it light.
And that's going to ensure that we get a fire going. We're going to try to get a fire going. Coming up after the break with Scouts Canada. We'll be right back. You know, you're exactly right. Building a fire, Melissa, is an essential life skill. This is something we should need to know how to do, right? But what do we need to actually have before we even consider building a fire?
Well, the first thing first is you want to make sure that there isn't a abandon effect. We're fortunate right now there isn't one in the Lower Mainland, but I know parts of the Okanagan there is. And in this particular case, you want to make sure you have a fire permit. Most provincial parks, you're okay, but somewhere like Warnerlow, you want to make sure you have a permit before doing anything.
And then we got to make sure we can put it out.
Oh yeah, definitely. You have to make sure you have water on standby or a fire extinguisher or anything like that. You have to be able to put it out.
Okay, so now we're going to build a fire. You guys go ahead. What kind of fire are we building?
There's different styles. So there's teepee, log cabin. You could do magic campfires, and now we do that a lot at our group camps.
Definitely.
The kids really like that. It just sort of seems to light out of nowhere.
So we already had the kindling. They've got it all set up nicely, and it looks like it's ready to go. And then we're good to light it. How far back should everybody sort of be standing?
Couple feet back.
Except for Zamir, who's going to be lighting the fire. You're an official fire starter for us in this case, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you get that going here. And why we'd want to build a fire is obviously warmth, but people could possibly cook on a fire. What do we need to know with respect to that?
With cooking, most campfire pits will have like a grill over top, so you can put your food over top, but that's not always the case. So you might want to bring something. And time. You know, it may take longer or shorter, depending. And I don't think we're always going for Cajun with our cooking over the fire. So just, you know, black is great, but...
But being environmentally friendly is super important.
Oh yeah, well, as you see, like our kindling is newspaper and little bits of wood and lint, you know, things that aren't, you know, you can just pull out of your dryer, right? Or out of your house.
And we've got a cement pad here, but if you didn't have a cement pad,
you'd bring a barrel.
Okay, and you want to take with you what you bring in. It's all about being environmentally friendly. And again, cooking on a fire there, Thor, is not necessarily always the way you want to go. You might want to use a camp stove. That might be the best option. So we're going to do some cooking coming up next. I'm thinking, you said be prepared. Where are the marshmallows? That's what I want to know.
I was going to say, I'll bring the s'mores down.
Yeah, well, if you're doing anything athletic, you need to fuel yourself, and that's with good food. And when you're camping, nothing just tastes quite as good as food when you're camping. So coming up, we're going beyond the s'mores. We're going to make something that's a nice hot breakfast, really no mess. You get that ready. Stay with us. We're cooking camping style. Up next with Scouts Canada. Yeah, safety and being prepared, and you know, we all got to prepare for a good meal. We're going beyond s'mores, right, Alex?
Oh, definitely.
We're making breakfast that actually can be considered quite gourmet. What's the trick when it's coming to cooking and making a great breakfast here?
The trick is timing and what's inside. The less food inside, the faster it cooks. So you have to make sure the proportions are right, definitely.
And what do we need to know, Melissa, about proper storage? Because when you're out camping, you've got wildlife that's also hungry.
I was gonna say, we wouldn't be leaving the dishes out like this. We're trying not to tempt wildlife. So anything you can store, pack it away, minimize it, throw it up in a tree, just get it out of sight.
Excellent. Okay, Alex, what are we making here? Go ahead, guys.
We're gonna make omelets in a bag today. We got some eggs. I think these guys are adding 1 egg in there. We got some toppings here too, cheese, red onions kind of things. I don't know.
So really make what you want.
It's a really customizable meal. So if you have like the picky eaters in your group or when you're camping, this is the way to go.
And this is even something that you can consider even doing at home. What do we need to know about the kind of bag we're using? You definitely don't want it to be melting.
You want the thicker Ziploc bag.
Awesome. I think they're using freezer bags here right now. So everyone is getting their omelet ready. What I love about this is it's no mess.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, no dishes. It's awesome.
No dishes. So they're getting that all ready to go. And do you just basically mix it all in the bag?
Pretty much. Yeah. You just squish everything up, add some salt, add some pepper, whatever you want.
And how long will it take to cook?
This will probably take no more than like 5 minutes. If you do use more ingredients, you could go to like 12 minutes.
Excellent. Okay, so ladies, you've got one in the water ready for me to go. Let's take that one out because the guys are going to put theirs in the water. And this is going to be good for me, right? Because I'm hungry.
Yeah, I will.
And so do I need to put it on a plate?
No, you don't have to.
I can just eat it right out of the bag.
Yeah.
Eat it straight out of the bag like the campers do.
I know. This is when it tastes the best. So I'm going to can you hold on to the microphone for me? Because, you know, I gotta try this here. It's all about Scouts Canada. Creating a nice little gourmet meal, guys. Hold on. Here we go. It's nice and hot. Let me see. Man, I would do this at home. This is great. No dishes. I don't like to do dishes even when I have a dishwasher. Part of Burnaby Lake there, Jody and Riaz, and we're hanging out with Scouts Canada. We've been getting some great tips from making a fire, to making some food, and we're also going to be talking about the proper way to put up a tent. So tent tips with Scouts Canada coming up at about 10 to 9. Yeah, and one of the things at Scouts Canada, they teach you that you must be prepared. They've helped us with fire, they've helped us with food, and next we're getting tenting tips. It's about shelter here with Scouts Canada. Stay with us, we'll be right back. You know, the food always tastes great when you're camping, and you know what, you always have the best sleeps, but I think you got to make sure that you set up the tent properly, and there's many things that we need to know, and there's certainly mistakes people make. What's your name?
Aliana.
And what would you say people need to make sure they know?
Definitely before you go camping, you have to make sure that you have all the equipment.
And there's a great way to do that. What's your name?
Inara.
And what would you say is the great way to make sure people are prepared and have all the right stuff?
Well, just by being prepared and knowing how to use all the equipment, so that you're not in trouble when you go camping.
So practicing might be a good idea.
Yeah.
Awesome. That sounds good. In fact, I remember as a kid you had the backyard and once in a while you'd set up a tent. What would you say is the biggest thing people need to know?
They should remember to keep the rainfly on the right way, or else they'll have to take the rainfly off the tent, and it just creates extra work.
Great idea. What's your name, by the way?
Naveed.
Thank you, Naveed. Okay, and I'm looking, you guys are all working on the poles. How do you know which is which?
The longer one has to be at the top, and the shorter one has to be at the bottom.
Okay, and what's your name?
Amani.
Awesome. You guys are doing a great job. I'll let you continue to work. And Alex, again, we want that great sleep on the tent and when we're camping, but how do we make sure that we put it in the right spot?
Well, one of the most important things is to make sure you're not at the bottom of a hill, because if it rains, you're just going to be right in a big puddle.
That's a great idea. And you want flat ground, right?
Definitely.
So those are all great tips. They're doing a great job right now. Yeah. How do we take care of that tent?
Well, you see, there is a ground sheet under there, so that's just sort of keeping the water out from under it. And you know, when you do camp in the rain, it does happen in Vancouver, make sure you dry it out, because it's going to get moldy and really gross, and then you're not going to have your tent as long, and that's just lame.
That just doesn't work for us. Look at this. They're getting it put up pretty quickly. They said it would take about 5 minutes. I think they may get it up a little bit quicker. Once again, we've been hanging out with Scouts Canada all morning long. They are helping us be prepared, and certainly going to be a great summer to enjoy some camping, especially when you got these great tips from these very talented young people there, Jody and Riaz.
Going for a record time with that tent. Nicely done.